So when I died, I thought I was going to go to hell, or quote unquote spiritual prison, because I wasn't in good standing with the LDS Church. It's a lot deep and heavy. Why am I sharing this on a random Monday morning? I'm trying to lose some followers, to be honest, gain some followers, but the right followers, and it's like truth of the LDS knowledge there. I just want to also let people know that if they're struggling in the church for XYZ reasons, like history or things like that the church is not that open about, I'm with you there. I understand that. I still go and things like that. I consider myself an active member. I'm a believer in God above all things. I think you're going to be okay, is what I'm trying to say. I think you're going to be okay. Before I died with being so hard on yourself. There's way more to God than we will ever know or understand. We are part of him and he's part of us for sure, but he cares about the ending, not where you start. I just have more of an open mind now when it comes to religion and spirituality. So a few things about me I'm going to add real quick, because my content's crazy, it's everywhere, and it'll always be fitness and health related because that's like a core part of me. It's like a part of my identity, even though it's not. However, growing and learning is part of my identity. I've always loved continue growing and learning. I mentioned a long time ago that I died, and in my death experience, I was taught a lot about life, and I saw a lot on life. And being a Christian LDS member, so I might push some people away here. It's okay if I do, and if not, I just realized. So when I died, I thought I was going to go to hell, or quote unquote spiritual prison, because I wasn't in good standing with the LDS Church in some ways. I wasn't like terrible. I just was not, temple worthy and things like that. And so I thought, I'm going to hell for sure. It's been years since I had to recommend things like that, and I died. And so I'm like, well, I'm Satan. I'll see you soon. And no, I went to what my experience was. It was not that. It was the most beautiful, lovely experience with my Maker. And so yes, I believe there's a God. I know. I struggle saying I know because it was so. What God is too much. It's too big. He's a personage. I now know that, but it's like it's all consciousness. It's like it was everything. And the more time I was spent with him, which time did not make sense when I was with him, the more I became like him. My whatever it's a whole thing. Anyways, I was changing before my eyes and his eyes. It was crazy. Anyways, what I want to mention is that I think I just have far more of an open mind now when it comes to religion and spirituality. So yeah, I have issues as far as like with the church. Religion will like box in an impossibly being, like you can't box God. You cannot. After having that experience, it's silly. It is silly to box God in this structure. And I know it's good. There's like good because he talked to me about the spirit and how the spirit is fragile. It's a whole thing. I made a YouTube video on it, and now we're long, just to get an idea. So it was a long experience, and overall, I just know that there's way more to God than we will ever know or understand. And how dare we put him in one religion? How dare we put him in one box? He's so much more than that. He's so much more merciful, graceful, and all-knowing and all-being. And we are part of him, and he's part of us for sure. Literally made from the same ingredients, the same molecular, even smaller than that, subatomic DNA. Like it was so clear to me. And so there's like truth of the LDS knowledge there. I just want to also let people know that if they're struggling in the church for XYZ reasons, like history or things like that the church is not that open about, I'm with you there. I understand that. I still go and things like that. I consider myself an active member. I'm a believer in God above all things. I'm a believer in my Savior Jesus Christ, and I still suck and I still struggle just as much. And you're gonna see the most random content from me when it comes to lifting, life, just because I've had strange experiences like that. And I don't know how much I'll voice on Instagram. I'm trying to lose some followers, to be honest. I'm trying to gain some followers, but the right followers, and lose some followers by just being the authentic me. Some people are like, nah, I'm an atheist, freaky dude. Dude, I understand, but there's a reason why they say that saying is like everyone's an atheist until you're in war. And then all of a sudden you're talking and praying and pleading with someone. Before I died by drowning, just so you guys are aware. I was pleading like crazy for some kind of deliverance, for some kind of God, angel, anything to be like, hey, now's the time for some kind of miracle to save me because I'm about to die. And all he says, like, you got one breath left. And I die. So I'm telling you, there's a God, and everyone can find that out for themselves. I'm not saying to like, you just, if you do enough like digging, you'll find God like being within yourself. However, I just know it is silly to put him in a box. However, I understand the importance of religion. It's very controlling. There's a lot of we lose a lot of God in religion in many ways, and even though we lose the big picture, we lose the whole point. Because of all these little things. Because as I went to God with all these little things, I'm like, oh man, but God, he's like, I know. He's like, I don't care. And I don't dare. A part of me doesn't follow the commandments and all that, right? Because your soul is fragile. However, God is just looking at the big picture. And so he didn't ask me when was the last time I went to the temple. He didn't ask me if I was temple worthy. He didn't ask me for my temple recommend. He didn't ask me temple recommended questions. He knew my heart. And we were talking without using our mouths. We were communicating with our brains. His eyes, and it was very expressive. It was almost like I could only see his eyebrows. It was very bright. It was very, very bright. However, all in all to say that I understand why there's religion and why we're to do certain things, and it's to keep our souls as best as possible. And he does know, he knows why we're out here, and he understands we're gonna make mistakes the whole way, and we're just figuring it out. And he knows that, and he knows that you knew that. He's okay with it. He just wants us to communicate with him more, however that looks like to you. Buddhists have a point of view of what that looks like. Hindus and Mormons, and I'm just telling you that it really is important just to get in a good relationship with you and God. And yeah, you're still gonna be you. I'm the vilest of sinners in the sense of I swear I've done some things. I'm not that crazy. However, to LDS standards, I could be like, hey dude, you're like a lost soul, man. However, I know where I sit with God, especially after my personal interview with God. I think you're gonna be okay, is what I'm trying to say. I think you're going to be okay. Quit being so hard on yourself. Quit worrying about the small little minutia. God is in the details, but he cares about the ending, not where you start. And even though there's moments where you won't feel him in your life, he's definitely involved in your life, in the details. He purposely, there's moments, and I hated when I heard like Christ suffered on the cross and in Gethsemane, and there was a moment where he was abandoned just so you would never have to be abandoned. No, false. I've been abandoned before, where his presence is shut from you, whether you did it yourself or him. You can argue that all day. However, he allows you to feel that abandonment. It's good. It makes you dig deeper, and it allows your soul to do more work than you're used to. However, he's still kind of like watching over everything. He's not a helicoptering parent. He's like the perfect parent. It's so true. He like knew, and if you're getting offended by me saying he, when he spoke to me, it was not my voice. He was a very low voice. It was a lot lower, calmer, powerful, booming voice. So it was a man's voice, and I know that might piss people off, but it was a man's voice. And he was far more loving and caring than I thought because of the way I was raised. Temple recommend questions, temple church attendance, tithing, everything you think of, word of wisdom, law of chastity. Like I was like, dear God, I don't know why I'm here. I think you made a mistake. I look back and think about that experience often, and I realize it's just so hard to bring back to in words what I experienced. But I've tried to make this video, I don't even know now, 30 times at least. And all to say is you're doing better than you think you are. Even if you're lost, you're not lost to him. And on the other side, there's more love than is even, we're not capable of understanding or harnessing the level of welcome home. I've been waiting for you, dying to see you, literally, at a level of energy. To give you a short glimpse of my experience, I thought it was my dog waiting for me. If you ever have an animal on the way for you when you get home, they're super excited. I thought I was gonna run to my dead dog because it was that level of like puppy energy, like, oh my gosh, where have you been? And I was getting excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, or whatever's at the end of this tunnel is like super like, it's my puppy, or maybe like my grandma or something. And it was God. That's how excited he is to see you. And I was straight up lost to the LDS religion, to LDS church, to the standards. And that's the thing is there's the standards of the church, which I understand is trying to be celestial. And then there's the standards of God. It's just, I'm sorry, like he's got far more mercy and grace than any bishop has given me. And I'm not telling you guys to go mess up and go do whatever you want, because he emphasized on the weakness and how fragile the soul is. On whatever you decide in your life, and he knows what you're gonna decide with your life. He's like, it's gonna hurt the soul. The soul is very fragile. It can only take so much, and it does break. He told me that the soul dies. He taught me that the soul dies, and it's fractured and actually dies, and then it comes back. It's like as if it's never ending. It's like, oh, so hard to make sense of it. The soul can get hurt though. Like if you think of it in the video game, for all you gamers, you have like hit points, and you have like a restart once you've like died. And there's certain things that kill your soul, and then you like restart so you don't really die. But it's like your soul is scarred. So there's scar tissue on souls. It's a lot. It's deep and heavy. Why am I sharing this on a random Monday morning? I don't know, but I just feel I want to lose some followers and maybe gain some right ones. But I'm gonna be messing up just as much. He knows that. He knew that when he sent me back. And in fact, one of the things he let me know is like, you have more suffering to do. That was not cool. There's more pain for you down there. Oh, what? Why send me back, bro? And bro stuff. Look, you guys can think I'm disrespectful to God. So like, God knows. Like, I now understand way better God's. Dude, if he look, I have like a sick sense of humor where it's like, you disgusting, you putrid human, you animalistic. How dare you talk about? God made us, right? He gave us our personalities, our humor, even sick, twisted, dark humor. Yeah, like the realization that God is far more family than you ever would think, and not this like pedestalized. Even though it is like pedestalized, but not. It's like the relationship was just so. It's like a cool dad. It was so weird. I'm sorry. I gotta stop. Hopefully this kind of makes sense, and I don't know what I want to bring here, but if it scared you away, good. If it pushed you closer, cool. I just hope I can bring some value, and that's the main points. All right, you're doing good. Keep it up.